Welcome back, folks. I'm me, Phil Terrell. You're watching part 16 of the Final Fantasy VIII Let's Play. So on the way out, Zell will get a little bit more than pissed off that his BFF Squall gets the cold shoulder by Dobe and Flo. And as we're running out here, because, you know, we're not wanted here, we're going to... Galbadia soldiers are here! Okay, what the heck? So, looks like instead of us going home and, you know, figuring a way to get the garden up and running, we're going to have to solve this problem because, as Flo is going to mention right here, the Galbadian soldiers are here because of us. And Squall's like, well, maybe. And so we're going to have to take responsibility for them, but of course we can't. They're not going to rely on us because we are going to use force, and Mayor Dobe is going to do the more rational thing and try to talk to him. And well, Squall's going to say it for me. He's dead. Because although I imagine if Galbadia was under, well, probably not. I imagine if Galbadia was under the direction of President Delling, maybe they might be willing to talk it out. But since they're under the thumb of Adea, I don't think she's going to want to talk. She might just decide to destroy FH. If you talk to some of the people here, they're going to be freaking the heck out because this is kind of very unusual that an army decides to come in here and starts, you know, trashing the place and wanting to know where a certain person that I'm not going to spoil yet. I have enough parts to go and upgrade the late Irving's weapon to the Bismarck, and that's it. So I'm sure that Irving will appreciate that if he comes back. So yeah. So let's go ahead and go to the I believe it's the inn I'm going to go, because I'm going to go ahead and buy some tents, because the tents are going to allow me to make 10 Kiragas per tent, which is pretty broken. Kiragas are very good mid-tier spell to junction to some of your stats, like say defense or HP, and I think even spirit, aka your magic defense. You get quite a bit of mileage out from your Kiragas. So Kiraga can be a very broken spell, especially since money in Final Fantasy VIII isn't very, you don't really need it after the first disc anymore. So you can just spend all your money into Kiragas like you see here. Just dumping Kiragas all into my main 3 party members. And you'll see that if you junction it to, say, for example, for Zell, if I junction it to his, if I use attack to auto junction all of it, his spells, Kiraga automatically goes to his HP. If I do it to Squall, Kiraga would automatically go to his defense, which I think I did defense. I don't think I did attack. That went a little bit too fast for me. So Kiraga went to his defense, which boosted it up to 115, which is that's a pretty big amount of defense, aka vitality. Alright, I'm trying to see what I can do to max out his attacks. Probably going to be holy, more than likely. Yeah, 86. Ooh, I saw 89, but it was right junction to another stat. And then make sure that before you go to the train station, make sure you have a character who has Mug equipped, if you're able to. And here I'm just getting rid of extra spell slots that barely have any spell in them. Like just very few spells. I just don't feel like messing with it anymore. Because I'd rather just get rid of those and make room for better spells. I didn't talk to the TV there or examine the TV because it reports in on what's happening currently in FH, so it's a little bit of an interesting little tidbit there. I'm actually going to fight into an enemy right here. I believe it's I think it's SAM-08G, I believe. Now, this fight, I don't think I fought one of these in the Delling City prison, or the D-District prison. They drop running fire for Quis's blue magic Gatling gun, and an interesting tidbit I found about this, because I didn't know this, because normally I kill these things really quickly, or they're by themselves, but if they're by themselves, they'll have a charging move that will, after 3 turns, it will use an attack called either Cannon Blow or Wild Cannon Blow, but he'll only use that attack if he's not by himself. Otherwise, he'll just resort to physical attacks and Gatling fire. And since it's supposed to be a cybernetic organism, it's kind of funny that it's poison and it's taking poison damage. But really interesting tidbit. I didn't know that, as I was doing a little bit of research on, you know, some of the encounters, which there's only like 2 encounters I have here. Well, technically 3. If you count the boss fight being technically 2 phases, but I don't really consider it 2 phases. So we go here. and we'll catch up with Delling, or Dobe, not Delling. Delling's dead. With Mayor Dobe. He'll be at the mercy of a Galbadian soldier, because they'll be talking. And Zell's like, it kills me to help this dude. And so Squall's wondering what they're talking about, and we're going to be informed here that they're looking for a girl named Eleni. And Squall's like, Eleni? Like the girl that we just got rid of? Not get rid of, but she left the garden. And then Dobe is telling the truth. He doesn't know who this girl is. And the soldier's like, it doesn't matter what he says. They're going to burn FH down to the ground. And so here we're going to find out that Dobe and FH's philosophy of pacifism, or not being able to, not wanting to fight back, is going to bite them right in the butt. So we can go help them, and you're given an opportunity to junction some stuff. You want to make sure that you have Mug and Thundaga, or Thundera or Thunder Spell junction into your elemental attack. You can also get by with Quake if you want, or Water if you want, because the boss that we're going to fight is weak against it. So we got to take out these soldiers, and they're like, get the Ironclad here. So Ironclad, I think maybe we would have fought something called the Ironclad in an earlier part, maybe. But soldiers, absolutely nothing special to write home about, because they're just normal Galbadian soldiers. Not too special. You can take them out really easily. Now, since we have the Lionheart, Squall is basically set almost for the entire game, outside of just, getting awesome high tier spells. But Squall basically has the potential as of, well, technically Zell has potential, but Squall has the potential to do the most damage at the moment, until we get Zell a little bit more equipped. So we're done with that fight. It wasn't too hard. And then Squall is going to tell everyone that something's coming, and we're going to see that it's actually the tank that we fought in the missile base with Selphie, but it looks like it's seen better days. Now this fight against what's it called, BGH-25-1F2, it's a bit weakened because it's seen much better days, but it doesn't mean that it's not dangerous. So I would recommend drawing Protect and casting it on all your party members, because this thing will hurt if you allow it to hurt you. Specifically his beam cannon, or the beam cannon on this thing. Now Shell will half the damage from beam cannon, while Protect will only like half the damage from its bullets. And if you're able to, I would suggest stealing from this boss if you haven't card modded your Minotaur card for whatever reason, because I feel the 10 adamantines that you get from the Minotaur card are well worth trading that thing in for those. But if you don't, you can steal adamantine from it. That way you can make one of the more powerful, or one of the best weapons in the game for either Squall, I believe Zell, and I want to say Selphie uses adamantine. So those three need that that item in order to refine it, or remodel your weapon to that. So not too special. And in this fight, I'm actually going to show the power of Squall's Lionheart by complete accident, or not complete accident. It just so happened to be, it happened. But since we have all three elements that it's weak against, it's weak against Thunder first off. So having that spell equipped to either Zell or Squall's elemental attack junction is very good. But it's also weak against Earth and Water, which you can summon Brothers or Leviathan to do some good damage to it. Or if you want to use your Quake spells, or even your Water spells, you can. And that thing just sealed its doom with that attack it did on Squall. So I'm just going to have Renoa just stock stop for whatever reason I want. It's not really a good spell, but it's useful in some cases. So bear in mind that Renzo Kukin hits quite a few times before the Lionheart. And Lionheart, I think it's only a 25% chance it even activates. And Lionheart hits 17 times, and look how much damage I'm doing. And I'm not anywhere near maxing out my attack. It's going to do 17 hits of over 2,300 damage, which will equal your shite is wrecked. So that's done. The boss is completely, it's done. I probably did over twice the HP it had easily, just with Lionheart alone. And maybe the Renzo Kukin hits before that. But the boss is done. We'll get 20 AP where you stole the adamantine, which is a superior item compared to what it probably has. I didn't see what it dropped before, but the adamantine's way better than anything it could probably drop. So it falls into the water. And surprise, surprise, here are three party members that have been missing: Selphie, Quistis, and Irving. So it's pretty interesting that they're safe and sound. We find out in a diary that, Selphie's diary, that they survived and they had absolutely no control over what they were doing there. And surprisingly, Squall's actually very happy to see them. It's almost like a weight is lifted off their shoulders. And Squall wants to know. Well, first Squall's going to let him know that Garden's safe, so that's a relief to all three of them. And Squall wants to know what happened to him, and Zell's like, "Hey man, let's talk about this later. They need to rest probably and get caught up on what's happening." So Squall's gonna tell Zell and Renoa to, go take them to the garden, show them the way to the garden, and let them rest probably. Now, depending on if you sent Renoa or Squall, not sent Renoa with Squall or sent Renoa with Selphie, you're gonna get a different dialogue choice here, or different dialogue here. Since Renoa was with Squall, she's very surprised to see that he was very honest and glad to see Selphie and her team come back safe and sound. Now you can obviously pick a choice here, whatever you want to, just troll if you want, but it is shown that Squall really cares about his three comrades, and she even calls him, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't think of them as friends, or comrades, but think of them as friends." And Squall ends up blushing at the remark that Renoa says, and that's pretty telling. Again, Squall's coming out of this shell of his where he doesn't want to let people in, and unintentionally or subconsciously he is letting people in. Now, if you don't let Renoa join Squall and she goes with Selphie and them, she's a little bit she was worried that she would never see Squall again or something to that effect, and she's glad that she got to see Squall again. Now, going to right here, I really like this interaction between Dobe and Squall, because you get a little bit of more of what Squall feels about with battle and talking, even though it's just one-on-one, so I feel he's more open to talking about it. But Squall even wishes that all the problems shouldn't be settled with violence, and he probably wishes that more problems could have been solved with talking. And he even says it's kind of sad that things have to result to violence, and he thinks that people from both sides, for example, Squall's side that thinks they should have to fight, and then Dobe's side that wants to talk the problems out, should exist. But it's very interesting. I like that dialogue right there. It's very telling about that side of Squall, and it shows some of his personality deep down. He doesn't show other people. Now, I'm going to go and talk to the two people here in the junk shop. So we get one more scene with the Fisher Kid, which shows him not trying to assassinate the shopkeeper. He actually lands his lure right into the water with a plop. Or splash. It's a Magikarp splash. Magikarp. Oh wait, I'm carp. No, I don't even think that's what Magikarp. I'm making a horrible Magikarp thing. But anyways, with that, we can go ahead and start finishing up the Master Fisherman side quest. So that dialogue's done. Now, we're going to go all the way back to where the Master Fisherman was. And probably should have just cut, but I'm just going to show Squall walking, because there's a bit of an interesting conversation that you have going back to the elevator. And it has to do with the elevator person right here, because it seems that Squall forgot about this person. And even though I'm making it go really, really quickly, I shouldn't have. But he forgot about Squall. Squall forgot about this guy, even though he greeted us. And it didn't happen that long ago. And it seems that little things here and there, you notice that Squall and Co. kind of have a moment of lapse in their memory. And it's kind of interesting that that keeps on happening. Now, Irvin here waited for Squall to show up and lets us know that the headmaster gave the okay for the technicians to come. But then Irving also asked, like, hey, if there's any like extra side projects that we could use, can we use those technicians? And Squall's like, yeah, sure, as long as that doesn't get in the way of fixing the garden, I guess that's okay. So Squall's one of the boys. He's like, yeah, go ahead, but just don't let nobody know I said this, and make sure it doesn't slow down the process of fixing the garden. Now, with all that done, we can side quest, and all this is not mandatory at all. This is just me wanting to show this little side quest. It is a lot of talking. There's nothing to this other than background exposition about Fisherman Horizon, and I shouldn't say background exposition, but just background information on FH, the Master Fisherman, and getting a Mega Elixir. And then Master Fisherman can read Squall like an open book. He knows that Squall is very guarded. He doesn't let people in, and Master Fisherman's like, hey, it's not my business. Sorry, but it's your time to shine, boy. My time has passed. So you're given an option here that you can spend some more time with the Master Fisherman. All you gotta do is go to the inn. We're gonna go into the back area where the beds are and that little workroom is, and that's where the Master Fisherman is gonna be waiting for us. So you can get a choice. You get a choice. You can either go or not. And I think if you do leave, you can still come back here later and finish off this little side quest. It's completely up to you. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump cut to the inn, go all the way back to the back, and then the Master Fisherman is going to talk a little bit about the founding of the founding of FH and the man that started the man who became the mayor of FH, Dobe, or Dobie. So Dobie right here, this is back when he used to be an Estar, and Dobe and his people didn't want Estar to take the route of a military nation, presumably during the Sorceress Wars, and Dobie fought tooth and nail to try to keep Estar from being that and being more of a peaceful nation. But time after time, he was shot down, and as most people would be, he got tired of it, and people that were part of Dobes can't get tired of it, and they left and they founded FH, and the people who left that founded FH were actually very skilled technicians. So that's why FH has a lot of the people who can fix stuff like the garden, and just has all this. They were basically able to make a semi-technological city out of almost nothing in this area, which is kind of telling with their skills and everything, which I find is very interesting. This city was nothing until these people came here, and it's just kind of interesting. Um, and as the Master Fisherman says, it kind of changes your views because Doe was the last one to want to leave Estar, and then eventually he became their mayor and leading, you know, the people of FH as their mayor. Now, you're again given an option to continue the story or not. I'm gonna go ahead and continue it. Long live Fisherman's Horizon! So with that, we can go ahead and continue and finish off the last, technically the second to last leg of this, but I consider it the last leg, because unless you go to Shumi Village, you'll never see the Master Fisherman again after this section. So the people of FH see the Master Fisherman, they're like, hey, what's up, boss? Hey, we thought you were gone or dead, and he's just like has to show up, otherwise people will think he's dead, probably at his age. And of course, even the drunk person here calls him boss, and then he's like, I told you to cut back, you hick. So, anyways, he's going to go and talk to his old friends over here at the junk shop. But first we're gonna do one thing before we do that. We're gonna go to the Grease Monkey shop, and Grease Monkey is being harassed a little bit by Galbadia soldier who wants them to fix the ironclad. And Squall's like, hey, what are you doing here? And the Galbadia soldier's like, shut up. Oh, geez, it's the seed. So Squall's like, why are you asking to fix that broken piece of junk? And Squall's like, yeah. And Squall's calling his bluff. He's like, let's just get this over and done with. I fought like 10,000 of y'all already. And so the Galbadia soldier is like, all right, let's sell this tough guy. So we're going to go and settle this. And he's like, I'm not afraid of you. But when we leave, he's not out there. We're not fighting him. So let's go back and see what happened. Surprise, surprise, he decided to leave. That doesn't surprise me at all. And Grease Monkey says he escaped their window saying 2-on-1 wasn't fair, and Grease Monkey decides to reward us with the Mega Elixir for helping him out. So that's a free item you can get. Let's go and continue the plot here. So the Master Fisherman will be over here. And it turns out that him and the junk shop owner are old friends, and also a former colleague. Now, the fisherman right here, the fisher boy over here, is the protege that the Master Fisherman kind of took under his wing, and I think that's you're the biggest bum in FH. And Master Fisherman's like, shut up, both of you. So right here, we're gonna actually find out more about the Master Fisherman. feel like I'm just saying we're finding out more and doing all this, but literally, we really are. So the shopkeeper here is going to tell us that the Master Fisherman was a skilled engineer, and he was like an engineer that led this train of people, air quotes, train of people out of Estar and over to Fisherman Horizon. And he was the one that actually came up with the name Fisherman Horizon, and he said, if we can't build our city of dreams here in Estar, let's build it somewhere else. And that's what happened. And if we talk to the Master Fisherman, we find out actually that the name Fisherman Horizon, well, let's let him talk a little bit. Let's let him cook. So right here, Squall's going to inquire what caused the name to be called Fisherman Horizon. Catches everyone off guard, even Nobu and Matsu off guard, cutting the music. And it's revealed he made the name up, and everyone just happened to agree to it. And he tries to play it off cool. And Squall makes what he thought Fisherman Horizon really stood for. And it turns out that, well, the Master Fisherman is just going to piggyback off what Squall said, and he's like, "Yeah, you're right. You're right. I told you that before." So turns out that it was just a simple main name based on a simple dream. No point getting too complicated. So we can just agree just to let him have his moment. But it turns out that the name Fisherman Horizon was just made up. He doesn't even know why he made up the name of Fisherman Horizon, and it's just funny that people just agreed to it. So it's time for us to get going. I think so. So he's going to actually send some people to escort us up there. So this is fast travel before fast travel was a thing. So he's going to... He didn't take the lift up here. That's interesting. So these guys are going to jump cut us, by power of... well, first we get the Mega Elixir, and then they're going to let us jump cut all the way back to the elevator so we don't have to run and walk all that way. It's very convenient for the PlayStation 1. You didn't have to run all that way, because you're having to run back and forth to finish this quest. It gets kind of annoying, and it was one of the quests I wasn't always too keen on finishing because I don't like backtracking too much. Now Irving's going to stop right here and ask us to talk to Selphie because she's in a mood, shall we say, because something got destroyed that she was working really hard on in the background, or in the back scenes of Final Fantasy VIII. Now, as you can see here, Irving is very surprised at, well, all the techno mumbo jumbo stuff that the people at FH are using on Garden to fix it up, and Squall's like, "What, you expecting hammer and nails?" And Irving just doesn't want to be entertained by it. He's like, not my department. My department's guns and girls. Very much like Irving. Anyways, I'm dawdling not too far. We're already far into the garden already. So let's go back to the elevator. And we need to go to the quad, which is where we need to go to advanced plot and cheer Selphie up. But I'm going to go ahead and save my game in Squall's room. And I want to call it a part. And in the next part, we'll do some side quests, specifically in the garden with the CC group. We're going to do most of it here. And then we're going to talk to Selphie. And then we're going to plan a big party for Squall. So I'll catch you next part, folks. Later in. Bye.